Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today on an excellent episode of the Everyman Podcast. I can already tell it's going to be great. Returning guest, he's a friend of the show. You might know him from a two-time Grammy-nominated progressive metal icon, Dream Theater. He is the frontman vocalist extraordinaire. Ladies and gentlemen, James LaBrie. James, how are you, man?
Yeah. Love it.
Justin and Daryl, how you guys doing?
Doing good.
Great.
Excellent.
Doing great.
Great to be here once again. You know, I had a blast last time we met, and although you guys have been to the shows, man, so I know you guys.
Oh yeah,
on a
absolutely.
personal level, so it's cool to do this as well.
Yep.
51.
You know, Daryl and I were talking before this. You know, you were on episode number 40, you know, in the Everyman archive. So if you're listening to the Everyman Podcast for the first time, you know, you might want to check that out. We kind of get into the details about really into the nitty gritty on some of the Dream Theater stuff and James's history there. So that's definitely worth a shot. But today we're here to talk about a couple of things that are very exciting to me personally, but I know to everybody out there in the Dream Theater universe. So the distant memories.
Hang on, Justin.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say before we get going here.
Yes.
I don't want to talk about music, and I don't want to talk about politics. Is there
Oh.
anything else we can talk about?
Yeah, we're good.
I know, right?
We're
Yeah,
good.
that'll eliminate half of my plans here.
See you later, guys.
Yep. Well, it's nice seeing you.
Yeah.
Nah, everybody in the Cosmic Canoe knows the Everyman Podcast. We don't get into that. There's plenty of places people can get those hot takes,
Mhm.
and we just like to talk about life and music and stuff. So,
Oh yeah.
absolutely, fully agree, my brother. So,
Okay.
on that, Distant Memories. It's the first live record. It's weird calling a live DVD, you know, because people don't even know what that is, but it's a live concert experience.
Mhm.
It's coming out November 27th everywhere music is available. We watched Pale Blue Dot. It looks amazing. I love your Joker shirt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing was great. That was a great
Yeah.
tour. I mean, how exciting is this for you to get a chance to put this out right now?
Extremely exciting because we were able to come back, you know, I mean, aside from doing the first set, which was primarily focused on Distance Over Time with, you know, a couple other songs in there being Nightmare to Remember and In the Presence of Enemies. We also, it was paying homage to Scenes from My Memory. And so it was very cool for each guy in the band to revisit that album and be able to perform it once again, but in today's, make it a little bit more contemporary. What was very exciting for us, no matter where we were playing in the world, is that the demographics, once again, we saw people there from the age of 15 to 65 years old. And it just kind of proved to us that, you know, it's kind of like when you go see Rush, you know, or whatever the band might be that's been around for 25, 30 years. And you kind of look around the audience and you go, oh my God, you know, this still resonates and it's still affecting people that weren't even born when this album came out. And it's still influencing many musicians and so on and so forth. That's a whole other ballgame. But it was just interesting for us to walk out on stage and then see how enamored the fans were when we were playing this from beginning to end, not to mention to bring the show more into the way that we wanted the production. Well, the way that we hoped the production would be with live scenes from New York. We just didn't have the budget back then. I mean, we had, you know, we made it work, but this tour with Distant Memories, we were able to put into it what we thought it should have to really tell the story accurately and thoroughly, and you know, and make it interesting and visually from beginning to end. You know.
Well, you know, like you said about making it kind of contemporary, you know, Live Scenes from New York is one of my favorite concert discs, you know, and that's what I still have it upstairs in my game room on the shelf, and
Wow.
and it's like I've watched that so many times, and the binding on it's worn out from me lending it to people, you know, or throwing it in a
Put
book
the
bag or
tape on
something.
it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Strapped together with glue and thumbtacks.
Yeah.
But you know, that was so like impactful for me as a young musician, and I realized that when like you're saying, I'm not a 15-year-old Dream Theater fan anymore, but there's plenty of other 15-year-old Dream Theater fans that for them seeing that piece of music live for the first time is as impactful to a whole new generation of musician where, you know, there's not a lot of bands that have that effect on like multiple generations. And I think, you know, a band like Between the Buried to me is an example of one that is following in those footsteps, where they're having such a long career that's pushing what they do forward. You know what I mean? Where you're going to have people that they're seeing it for the first time, even though it's like one of your most well-known, well-regarded records.
Absolutely.
And I felt like that because, you know, for me, you know, that was in, you know, 2000, I guess, 2001, right?
Right.
So,
right. 2000, yeah.
So, you know, I was only like 10 or whatever, but no, I was older than that anyway, but I didn't get to see live scenes.
Yeah.
So,
next try. I think that's how old I was.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yep. That puts you at about 32 right now, right?
Yeah. Love it.
There it is.
No,
but,
no, for sure.
For me, I got to see it live, and it was like, wow! I feel like I can check that off the list, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey James, so what does it feel like what does it feel like to have your music and just resonate with a whole new generation of fans? Like, just to kind of see it cross generations like that. Like, what does it feel like for you?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's probably one of the most gratifying, fulfilling, you know, emotions that you can actually look out there. It's a nod to that you did something right, you know. And I think the other part of that too, Daryl, is like, you know, I know I'm jumping away from what scenes and how it was affecting, and how we see that there's a whole new generation coming behind that music. But even for a band like ours, when we put out Distance Over Time, it's our 14th album. And to see how that hit, because, you know, it came in #1 in Germany and in the top 5 pretty much around most of the globe. And just to see how the people on the boards and when we were at the shows saying, you need to play more songs from the new album. And we're kind of like, we're already playing five songs. You know, we don't want to go out and play the whole album because there will be some people that are going to get upset about that. But the fact that it resonated so powerfully with our fans today, that was the ultimate for us, because we were like, you know, usually you go see a band that's been around as long as we have, you're looking for, hey, come on, bring out the gems, you know, bring out this album from that album, from this album. And it goes on like that. But for us, it was kind of like, no, we're good with that, man. You're going to play this from the new album, this. So that was also extremely exciting for us to go on to the first set and then to see that and to feel that. And then to go on to do Scenes from a Memory. And then it was just a whole other friggin' ball game, you know.
Yeah.
People singing along.
Oh, yeah.
And every night, I kid you guys not, there's 2 songs every night. Through Her Eyes and Spirit Carries On.
Oh, man.
I'm not kidding you.
Guilty.
I can't believe how many people I saw.
Dude, that's Nate.
It's over. It's over. Dude,
and you know what? I got to be honest with you. So there would be moments that I'd be singing Through Her Eyes. And that's really, really just kind of brings everything together, you know.
Oh, yeah.
The tragedy of the story and how sad it is, and the realization and the revelation and all that stuff. And I'd be singing that some nights and I'd like choking up. How many times have I sung that song?
Oh, yeah.
It's choking me up while I'm singing it, you know? Yeah. And then I would look out and I'd see these people freaking bawling, and I'm like, don't do that. I'm thinking in my head, don't do that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm going to be there right with you. And then it's going to sound not right, you know? But it was just, it's really amazing. And then Spirit Carries On, everybody's like hanging on.
Oh, my gosh.
I want to talk about the Spirit Carries On here, because we were talking about the Spirit Carries On, and you were talking about how looking out into the crowd, you're seeing the reaction and the crying and the emotion. And I am absolutely guilty of that. And as a matter of fact, not to get myself emotional now. So I'm wearing this. I haven't worn this shirt, James, in many moons, because it's like gonna deteriorate any day. It is my Octavarium Score shirt.
Yeah.
Okay? Score. I was there.
Nice.
So, you know, at the time I was starting to go through my health issues with my heart, and was very uncertain what my future was going to look like. And I'm there at Radio City with my dad, and you guys played that song there, and it was like, and it was like, it imprinted on my emotions at a very early age because of what I was going through at the time. And then now it's like, you know, like I tried to explain to my fiance, like, oh yeah, there's this one song. It's like my, because as men, we kind of just, a lot of us just push shit down. You know? And then it's like once a year I go to a Dream Theater.
We're guarded. Sure.
Yeah, we got issues. You know, once a year I go to a Dream Theater concert, and then there's this, you know, maybe a 30% chance you guys play that, and then I get a good cry. You know, so it's like it's you know, me and my brother,
it's good for your heart.
Exactly.
Feel so much better.
So me and shout out to the great Momo. Me and Momo be there arm in arm, you know, sobbing, and she's just looking at me like, "What's wrong with you?" You know. But I
get it.
It's a powerful song. So yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see it. And again, you know, Distant Memories available everywhere. November 27th, Blu-ray, DVD, CD, digital, iTunes. Yeah. It's going to be on everything.
And just to stop all the badgering on the net when it comes out, everything's live. Okay. So if everybody starts like they have with every live thing, I put, oh, he probably overdubbed that, he overdubbed that. No overdubbing. Everything you hear is freaking from that night.
Nice.
So it's just the real deal. And so I'm not even gonna freaking answer any of that shit because it's all crap. It's all crap.
One answer every
minute. Mic drop. Done.
I just said it and I'm done.
Boom.
That's it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Poof, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I see that a lot, you know, and I think a lot of people just, you know, they don't have as much awareness about what goes into, you know, so they just think it's impossible.
Well,
anyway.
You know what? The way I look at it is, I don't know how many bands I've seen in my life live. And if I was to be an asshole, I could start talking about every band that I've seen live.
Sure.
And what I thought of the singing that night. But I know exactly what it's like to walk on stage when you're not feeling great.
Yeah.
And you know that you're tired, basically physically, and which affects the instrument immediately. Or if you're not feeling good, period, you know, you're just under the weather. So I know what these guys are going through, or girls, vocalists, and I know what they're going through. And I'm like, you know what? Hats off to you. You freaking did it. You still did it. As far as I'm concerned, you still did it. You know, so.
Oh yeah.
And that's
you gotta live it to understand it and to appreciate it. You have to. Absolutely. And every other vocalist I've ever talked to in my life has all said the same thing. It's like, you gotta be a singer. And I'm not talking about a weekend warrior. I'm not talking about going out and doing Friday night and Saturday night and thinking that you're Iron Man. And then I'm talking about doing 3-4 nights in a row, one night off, 3-4 nights in a row, one night off. And then you do that for a year and a half and you tell me how you feel.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hell yeah.
But anyway, hey, there we go.
That's
I love it. I love
Let
it.
it
So
out.
that brings me to another hot topic, you know,
Yeah.
obviously in these
They make great shirts.
hot topic, they do have some
They
good
do.
shirts.
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of shirts. I'm a big,
Yes.
you know,
Is it?
Yeah.
I've gotten quite a few T-shirts from Hot Topic over the years.
Every
We're
Dragon
all
Ball.
getting free shirts now, guys. We're
Yeah.
all
Oh, yeah.
getting free shirts.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably the best thing about having your own merch is you've already got T-shirts. You know,
Right.
they
Exactly.
don't sell. You got a couple extra T-shirts on by.
Yeah. Yeah.
So another hot topic, my man, is you know, obviously and because we're on YouTube, we have to refer to it in code. You know, these uncircumcised times that we all find ourselves in. Things have changed for the touring industry. Things have changed for musicians, and you know, people are maybe off now, and they would have been touring, or maybe like you guys, you're off and you were going to be off. And we recently had John Petrucci on the podcast, and you know, he was kind of talking about your experience with that. So, you know, what are you individually, what have you been working on? And then tell us, you know, what Dream Theater is working on.
Individually. So myself, I finished writing a solo album with a guy by the name of Paul Logue. He's from Scotland. And he used to be in a band called Eden's Curse. And back in 2010, they released an album, and I sang on a song called No Holy Man. I kind of guessed with their lead vocalist at the time, Michael Eden, I think the guy's name was. Anyway, so Paul and I stayed in touch with one another, because what I loved about Eden's Curse is it reminded me of classic rock, like the bands growing up, like more of a Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin approach. And that's what I loved, growing up. I also loved, Yes and Pink Floyd and Rush.
Love Yes.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Rush, I was spinning all the time. But I just, there was something about, and he was the main writer. So he came out, unbeknownst to me, he came out to the last show that we did on the European tour, February 23rd. After we shot the DVD in London, we did one more show in Glasgow. And he was there, and I guess he was reaching out to me saying, hey, James, I'm coming to the show tonight. Let's hook up. But he was emailing my old email address. So check this out. So the next day I'm at the Glasgow airport getting ready to fly home, via London. And he freaking walks right by me. He's like, James. I'm like, what? And then I find out he was at the show last night, the previous night. He's like, oh my God, I was there, I couldn't get backstage. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know. Anyways, so we get to talking. We had a coffee together. And I said, well, we're going back out in April, because at that time, we still thought we might be going on. Nobody knew. At the end of February, people were pretty sure that everything was going to come down. And I said to him, I'm not sure. We're scheduled to go to Asia in April and continue touring Asia, all through South Pacific Rim and Australia. And I said, but we're going to take a few months off after that, and then we're going to go out and do a North American tour, and then we're done in October. Why don't we get together and write? And he said, yeah, man, for sure. Well, everything crashed the middle of March. So he emailed me and he goes, hey man, so what are you doing? I said, I know what we should be doing. Let's write an album. And so that's what we did. So I started throwing all these ideas. He was throwing me his ideas. We put together 9 songs, and it's all acoustically driven. So it a lot of people are like, hey, I'm excited about your new solo album. And I'm sure everyone's thinking what I do with Matt Guillory all the time, right, guys? But this has nothing to do with that. That's a completely other different band, so to speak. So this is with Paul. We wrote all the songs. I told him from the beginning, I want it to be first and foremost, what I'm feeding him musically or melodically, it's all got to stem from the acoustic guitar, and then vice versa, what he was doing with me. And I said, and then if we want to build, which we have, now we have keyboards coming in. He plays bass and guitar, and I had to call my other favorite guitar player in the world. Well, John's my favorite. And then my other favorite guitar player is Marco Sfoli. So Marco's going to be playing on this as well.
That's awesome.
And already I can tell you guys, the solos this guy's doing acoustically, going to blow your mind. Nice. It's like, this guy's just so freaking talented, But anyways, we're really excited about the songs. And then I've got Chance playing drums. Yeah,
that's awesome. I was hoping you would say that.
Yeah. So him and I were sitting down. We're in the studio, and we're like, he's coming up with all these parts, and so we're just in the process of recording everything right now, and that's it. So when it's done, I'll let everybody know, and then that's going to come out. So as much as I'm saying it's acoustically driven, as we keep going on, we go, well, let's add this, let's add this, right. But I mean the fundamental equation, it started with acoustic, and I think that still will be, to a certain extent, the predominant element, right? Now on DT Land, we're like, just before coming on here with you guys tonight, we're writing another album. So I didn't want to go down into the States, even though I love the States, because it's brought me everything that I have today. I'm not saying that and trying to be funny. I'm being sincere when I say that.
Absolutely.
I've made my career because I met these guys from America, and because I'm in an American band, I'm in an American band, that, you know, I've had an incredible career because of it. But I said to the guys, I go, guys, I don't want to come down there. I don't want to fly. I don't want to do anything like that. I want to stay isolated. Because I'm reading horror stories about people losing their voice box when they get this.
Yeah.
And their lungs are compromised. And I'm like, I can't do that. I can't
play it safe.
So, exactly. So I'm coming in every day when we're writing by Zoom. So they have this great big monitor, you know, TV on the wall with my big Foch on it. And then those 4 guys are in the studio. So those 4 guys are together at the Dream Theater headquarters. It's our own studio, warehouse, whatever. And so that's how we communicate every day. So just before I came on here, that's where I was. And then they were breaking for dinner anyways. And they knew, by the way, they all say hi.
Oh, yeah, tell them we said what's up.
Hey guys.
Hi. They love you guys. They love you guys. They love your show.
Man.
We love you guys.
What a trip.
So anyways, that's what we're doing. So we're in the process of writing a new album right now. And it's, I don't know, I'm always going to say that because that's usually the way we always feel, but it's coming together amazing. So we're pretty excited.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's so good to hear. And, you know, a couple notes there, you know, you were talking about distance over time, people wanting more of that, you know, and I think when you guys have varied what you put out, like you have over the recent years, you created a kind of a demand for, I don't want to say like a return to form, but almost like more focused on what your core thing was to that point, and then make it sound as good as it possibly can. And like all of my audio engineer buddies and musician buddies, when that album came out, we were all talking about it like, dude, holy shit, these drums sound amazing. Like this record is sounds huge. Like, right. And you know, that has kind of put a seed in, I think, a lot of people's heads for what's to come. And you know, Viper King, if I don't hear Viper King at the next Dream Theater show, I'm gonna be very upset, because that is like one of my favorite, like, I just love it. I just love a good Viper King. So, you know, just tuck that away when the, you know, COVID's over, you know, Viper King. But
we'll do it. And if we don't do it, I'll give you an acoustic version.
That's even better.
Money.
That's awesome, man. So
but you know what, Dustin, you're totally right. So, you know, when we went in to do that album, we were thinking, you know, it's real easy for Dream Theater to go off and create something that's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, because that's exciting. And that's what this band has been known for, is that, you know, it can go anywhere they want, and people love it because that's what you expect from a band. But when we went in with Distance Over Time, we were like, let's just be more focused. Let's just think about songs when we start making much more cohesive, in the sense that we get in, we create it, and we get out. And let's just make the statement for each one very bold, something that's memorable, something that everyone can just, you know, be tapping their feet to, or singing the melody, or whatever. And I think, first of all, I mean, we were excited to go that road because, you know, it was something that we hadn't done for quite some time. And definitely coming off an album like The Astonishing, it just kind of was doing a 180. You know, let's go this way now, which was exciting. And I think because of that, and the reaction to that album, not only the reaction to those songs live, really said a lot to us. You know, it was very enlightening, eye-opener for us. And I think it still kind of sits with us. So I think I'd be lying if I didn't say that, you know, going into this album and going into the writing, that still speaks to us. It doesn't mean that it's going to be, well, we've never repeated ourselves, you know, at least I don't think we have. No. And I think the beauty with Dream Theater is that we have that, you know, there's no parameters, and we have free will to go wherever we want. And I think our fans around the world expect the unpredictable. But so we've had that creative freedom. There's no borders, right? Oh, yeah. And we can do that. And I think even taking what Distance Over Time has said to us as a band, we can take what that has meant to us as a band going in and writing, and then maybe just, take all the best parts from that and let it be maybe just always kind of within the room, when we go about. But we already have like so many ideas of where we're going, where we want to go, what kind of an album we want this to be. And we're already kind of monitoring that, as we go along. But all I can say is that even from the songs we've already written, it's awesome. We're nailing what we set out to nail, musically. So it's great.
That's great. I can't wait to hear it, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, you don't repeat yourself, but you try to, I guess, sharpen the reasons why people come back, and make sure those things are still there, and something new and challenging, especially because a lot of your audience is super dedicated, super passionate musicians themselves, and they're like this, waiting for a he dropped his stick. And I've been one of those people, so
it's like robots going up on stage.
Well, you guys, you're larger, that you're like larger than life in some ways, in what the music and the works you guys have created, and to a lot of people it's hard to grasp that, I think.
I think when I don't know, I think like anything, what makes the great bands who and what they are, it's that collective, it's the chemistry, it's because those four guys got together, and I'll point to Led Zeppelin every time. Like, if you go back and you start listening to those albums and those songs, and you think about each guy individually, it's mind-boggling what those guys produced, or even like, let's go from them to the Who, and you just think about what those guys did, or let's go into Deep Purple, or let's go into Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It was just, it was just the right mix, and these guys were all phenomenal and at what they were doing. And I think that, in fact, we were just talking today about, not necessarily that exactly, but we were saying, look, if you think about it, like this song here, and it's saying this musically, but because it's us that kind of put this together, it feels the way that it does.
Yeah.
But it could have been performed by, let's just say like a Spock's Beard or whatever, or even a Symphony X, but it wouldn't sound exactly the same. Yeah. It's because of the people that are executing those notes and those rhythm and that just that vibe and that energy. That's why it sounds the way it does.
James,
it's crazy.
I think as a fan, and might I say just new fan, going back and just binging all of your work and talking about Distance Over Time, and we talk about Zeppelin, we talk about the Who, we talk about Deep Purple. All of those bands, all of those groups that were, they had that perfect mix, like you say, just like you guys. Right. To me, the difference is the stuff that makes my spine tingle when I listen to your music, DT's music. You guys hit the legacy button, and now you're living it. So everything that you guys are doing, it's moving from that awesome mix of people, and it's transcendent through the music. And so, like, that's why, Brother Jay, when you say people are looking like this, I want to see what you guys are going to drop from your fingertips, because I know it's going to be awesome. But it's because you guys are living your legacy right now. And I mean, let's be honest, it's an awesome time. That's why it crosses generations. That's why, 10 years from now, kids, they're going to be new Dream Theater fans. They're going to be new, it's just going to be new heights that you guys are going to extend to. So,
well, I'll tell you what I'm taking from what you just said. From now on, you're doing all my interviews, Daryl. I couldn't have said it. No, I mean, thank you very much, for everything you say. And I think sometimes from everything you just said there's I got to tell you, there's some days where I'm just like, going for a walk or whatever, and then I start, and you just have this like this what's the word? I'm at a loss for words, but it hits you what you do and what you've done.
It's the enormity of it. It's the enormity of it.
Right. It kind of like, and I think anyone that has, whatever it is in the entertainment field, whether you're an actor that's been in it for 30 or 40 years or a musician. I just saw like Bruce Springsteen there the other day talking and I was thinking, is it ever been, it's got to be the same for him. Like he's walking around sometimes he's like, holy shit, like look at what I've done and look at what I've been able to do, like to see my dreams come true, but then be able to do it at this level and to sustain it this long. And like he said on this interview, I'm doing it album by album, day by day, and I'm doing this until I'm done, And I think, from what you're saying is that we're at a point in our lives that we can, we all get along fabulously. And I think that's a big thing. We went through our growing pains. And I think that we can just really sit back and reflect on what we've achieved, on what we're about to achieve, and where we want to go and what we want to continue doing, which is what we love doing. And I think, to be actually here to kind of be able to absorb that and to be able to appreciate that and to hear your words there. I mean, it's just you got to like kind of pinch yourself a little bit, every so often and say that, because I know several incredible musicians from the time that I was down in Toronto being like 18 years old going, I want to get an album deal. And I want people to hear me and stuff like that. And I still know these guys and they were incredible musicians, but they're looking at me and go, man, dude, you did it. You fucking did it.
Yeah, dude.
And it's kind of like, yeah, I know what you mean, because there's so much incredible talent out there.
Yeah.
But I think it's just that every so often we see this collection of people that come together and it's just the right freaking ingredients to make it happen.
You said it. You said come together, and that's why we all love it, is because you guys came together, and what did your music do? Your music brought everybody with you. And that's where we are. We're all like, we feel like, hey, we're a part of this thing. We're immersed in it. We're surrounded by it, and we want to stay here for as long as we possibly can. So that's
absolutely, absolutely. Hey, it's funny because I remember one night I was on stage, and then we always do the after show. You guys have been in the after shows and that. And one of the fans came up and he says, you said something tonight, and it's like in normal circumstances, everybody go, yeah, man, that's what we're doing. And he says, but you were up there and you were talking to us about, like, look at what we got here tonight. Look at how beautiful this is. Yeah. And I said, we're here to celebrate the music. We're all here because we love music. And we've all come from it from the time that we were little kids to where we are now. And this is what's really continuously brought us together. But he said, when you said celebrate the music, that's exactly what we're doing. Yeah. And he said, it's not until you hear something a simple phrase like that, and you go, holy shit, I'm not just here to like vibe out and get all excited about seeing a band that I love. We're here celebrating the music, It's just things like that. When somebody takes something that you said that you're not really thinking anything about, and then they take it to another level. Yeah. And then you're able to go, yeah, you're right. I see now why that affected you as it did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and like you're saying, James and Daryl as well. When you're at those shows, especially this last tour, I got a chance to see it twice. Daryl was there the one time, and there was it's like it happened to you. It wasn't like you were like, it was like when you saw that performance, it happened to you. You didn't see it, and on paper, when you think about like what a concert is, it's like, okay, so 5 guys are going to play instruments at the same time. Okay. And then when it's executed, there's a certain energy and magic, there's no other way to describe it, of the communication. I've talked about this at length with so many guests on the show, with Mike, you know, and John, you know, that communication between yourselves and as a group, and then that energy that goes out to the audience, and then the audience is giving the energy back. And it's a real thing. And not every band or group has that for as long a period. And like, I've been lucky enough to, you know, the first time I saw you guys, ironically enough, you were opening for Yes, and Yes was like my first musical love. It was my dad's like favorite band, you know. As a young drummer, like, you know, it was great.
That's the first time you saw us?
Yeah, was opening on that, like, I think it was like a 2003 tour. It was in Atlantic City.
2004.
Atlantic City at the Borgata.
Yeah.
And that's how I found out about you guys. And then I saw Yes a couple times on the tour, saw you guys obviously a few times. You were doing that Machine Messiah medley, which I loved.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And, but anyway, you know, I've seen that energy from your fans from then to Radio City to, I've been 2 different times. I've seen Dream Theater open for huge bands, and then your fans leave when the band comes on. Yes, and Iron Maiden. And you would think the Iron Maiden one wouldn't really happen, but there was a lot of people that were like, all right, I'm out, you know? And so like, there's like a dedicated,
you know, you just brought up Iron Maiden. Did you know, and you're right. Like, we see it. We see it. Like, you're talking about, okay, it's an Exodus. See you later. I came here for this band. But you know what's great? Like, we've done so many shows with Iron Maiden. And before Images and Words came out, we actually played we did 5 shows. We just went out. We were playing, like, just to kind of like, okay, let's just see how this feels. You know, we know we're going to start doing a tour. So this was June of 92. And we just said, let's go out and do like 6 shows. And then in September, we're going to start the official Images and Words tour. And I believe September 27th at the Limelight in New York. That's where we were. That was our first official show of Images and Words. And I don't know why I'm remembering that, but whatever. Okay, maybe it's the wine.
It's the wine, yeah.
But in June of 92, we backed up Iron Maiden at the Ritz in New York.
Wow.
And I remember Bruce Dickinson came out on stage after we had performed, and he made a point of it. He said, man, let's hear it for fucking Dream Theater. These guys kick ass. And I remember we were just like on the side, I said, oh, that's cool. You know, because the album hadn't even come out yet. Yeah. You know, the album got released July 8th.
Wow.
I think it was. So we were like, holy shit, right on. Awesome. Yeah. And when he came up and he goes, I love you guys, you know, I listened to the first album, When Dream Day Unite, and all this stuff. It was crazy. The other reason that we did that was because their management was thinking about managing us at the time. And then that kind of fizzled out. And then we went and we started getting managed by people that managed us. And we're kind of like, you know, that's a whole other story. But anyways, yeah, so it was kind of crazy because I remember going out in front of Iron Maiden at the time. We were like, holy shit, you know, we're not like just going to go out there and play some heavy metal madness freaking music. We're going out there and playing like Take the Time, you know what I mean?
Right.
Metropolis and Learning to Live. Are you freaking kidding me? I like, we were thinking Iron Maiden fans would be like, what the fuck is this? You know? Yeah. But you know what? We got out there and they were going nuts. We're like, wow, you know, something's happening here. Something's going on, you know?
It's the movie.
But I know what you mean though, because like, hey, the Yes tour, when we were out on Yes, so our management would get in touch and go, yeah, man, you go on the boards, like it's crazy. People are loving you, like all these Yes fans. And we're going, what do you mean? Like, are you saying that they're just discovering us? And they're like, yeah, like there's like a lot of Yes fans are going, who the hell is this band Dream Theater?
Yep.
I'm going to, you know, I'm going to pick up some of their albums and stuff like that. And we're going, and why wouldn't they already know who the hell we are? Like, isn't that bizarre? You know,
I had no idea who you guys were until that tour.
What's that?
I said I had no idea.
You were
I had
one
no
of those
idea.
people.
And I was I was one of those people.
Yeah.
And look at me now.
And your dad.
You know? I got the look at me now, everybody. So it's you go see a show and
was your father in the same boat?
Oh yeah, and we went to a wall record store, ladies and gentlemen, and we got Train of Thought and Scenes from New York, or I'm sorry, Scenes from Memory, and that was it. And then from there, I just became, because I was a drummer, obviously, I became obsessed. And like in a lot of ways, Dream Theater specifically.
The drumming in Dream Theater probably affected you the same way that Phil Rudd had affected you from AC/DC.
Well, no, definitely not. I mean, because I was
a smart ass here.
Yeah, I know. I'm all turned up by because I'm a.
That being said, hey, don't people misinterpret me.
No, not at all. Groove is king. But
Bon Scott, give me a break. Give me a break.
Absolutely.
One of the greatest freaking singers, Bon Scott.
Did it to do it on the top for years too, no doubt. But my point is that you never know where these new fans are going to come from, and a lot of them, and they're like, a lot of them are on the internet, and I've interacted with quite a few of them on the internet that are very passionate. When these podcasts come out, and you can't make everybody happy, and I've gotten a small percentage of that experience, and I can only imagine what it's like for you guys, but largely. It's overwhelmingly positive.
Nightmare. Whatever. Yeah. No, that's cool, man. That's really cool, and that's why it's great when when we're going out and we're doing like festivals and stuff like that, and then I'll even be hearing bands that I would never have gone out and actually checked out, but I can hear them in the background. I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta go out, I'll see who that is. And I think it's very interesting how many people go to a concert to see the band that they're already fans of, and then they walk away and hey, whole new experience, a whole new love for another band. I think that's the beauty. Well, we haven't been doing that for quite some time, right, guys? Because we've been playing an evening with.
Right.
Which is.
But there was a time there where you guys were bringing out a lot of a lot of young bands. Scale the Summit, Between the Buried and Me,
Exactly.
So Zappa plays Zappa, that was a great tour. Yeah. I'll tell you, I'm a nerd. I remember this stuff.
So how many shows? Let me ask you guys something. I'm interviewing you guys. How many shows? Okay, despite this situation that we're in right now.
Sure.
Okay, so let's remove that. How many shows do you think you guys see a year?
I used to go to a lot more than I did. The past couple of years, probably, I don't know, maybe 10 shows a year. But before,
and you, Daryl?
Justin has broken me into everything that is metal.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Daryl's first concert was Dream Theater.
He basically burst my cherry with Dream Theater. So.
Yeah, wasn't that your first concert?
That was my first ever. So it was like an overwhelming experience.
So what tour was that? Which one did you see, Daryl?
The 20th.
The 20th scenes from memory.
Oh.
Yeah.
So April of I guess 2019.
2019.
Distance Over Time, Scenes from a Memory tour in April. That was his first show.
Yeah.
At the Tower. Love the Tower, by the way.
I met you guys. Didn't I meet you guys in catering?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Downstairs underneath.
Right after
the basement.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, okay. You did. Yes, you did.
Oh,
yep.
I didn't realize that was your first show.
That was my first experience.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow. What a way to start it out. Yeah.
It's never too late.
That's right.
It was the equivalent of just being, not on drugs, and then somebody just throwing cocaine directly into your nose, and it's awesome. Open your nostril.
There it is.
Oh yeah.
There it is.
Oh yeah. The power of music.
Oh my gosh.
And like I said before, the thing that kind of freaks me out is there's this lapse of time where people aren't getting that magic and that energy, and you don't realize how important that is to you. But I'm dying for a concert you know, and
my gosh,
or a live event, you know, and they're like, people aren't getting that inspiration that they would normally, but maybe they're going to get it in a different way. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's not only like the music industry. I mean, you know, Daryl, you can attest to this. What about the sports industry?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's
I don't know
across
about
the
you
board.
guys, right? I don't know about you guys, but when I watch a hockey game and I see the NHL, you know, icon like going across or whatever it is, the insignia, and the people aren't there.
Yeah.
There's no spirit.
I know. It's like, why am I watching this?
Watching like the basketball games or baseball?
Yeah.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Well, you know what I think that is? I think it's subconsciously you think it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like subconsciously you think if there's no one there, it must not matter. So why am I watching this? You know, at least for me.
Yeah. And it's the same. I don't know if you guys have read about it where artists that have done those streams, right?
Yeah.
They do the live stream.
Yeah.
There's no audience there, right? Well, then you see them in an interview later on. They're like, so what kind of an experience was that? And they're like, no. Wasn't it? Because, you know, you might as well, it's a glorified rehearsal. I mean, you know that you're playing in front of the audience that have bought the tickets to see the live stream. So you want to put on a show, of course,
right.
You know, but at the same time, like, you got to remember that those musicians, they're standing on a stage being filmed and the freaking venue's empty. Oh my God. Like that's like us doing, you know, a week of rehearsals before we start on a tour. Like, there's nobody there. It's just like all the production, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's what's going on. It's crazy. It's crazy the situation we're in. And it's not only you guys that are saying so. It's friends of ours. And, you know, anytime I'm doing an interview, they're going, oh my God, I'm going crazy. I got to, you know, when's this going to come back online? And as far as we're being told, like, maybe not until next September.
Yeah.
Before touring starts again.
We feel the same way.
Unless we can get this vaccination going on, right? So when's that going to happen? What do we? Although Trump said next week we should have it. So guys, I don't know.
It's probably on its way. Yeah.
I'm going to get it done next week.
Yeah, I'll have it done in no time. Under budget.
Hey, honey, can you mark on the calendar next Wednesday? I'm getting inoculated.
Gonna get it. It's gonna happen.
I know, man. I know it's tough, and
yeah.
You know, it's like everybody's kind of pent up, and
we'll get through it though.
We are getting through it.
I think if anything, there's going to be a lot of amazing music that comes out of this because.
Oh hell yeah!
I the only thing I hope that doesn't, and I know it's going to happen. I hope that. Can you imagine how many lyrics are going to be based on this?
Oh God!
Oh man, it's going to be ridiculous.
I guarantee you on the solo album that I was just telling you about, all the lyrics that I wrote, it's got nothing to do with that. It's just got, if anything, they're fun lyrics, you know, and
that's what we need, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We need a little, and that's what the Everyman Podcast is all about, and that's why we have the Cosmic Canoe, because it's about shining your light, you know, and that's what's so fun about these conversations that we get to have, because, you know, whether it's we're passionate about our mutual admiration for, you know, live performances or just how excited we are to talk about Dream Theater, like that's that energy that, you know, helps everyone kind of get through the day.
Well, I can tell you the other thing that's helped me get through this, aside from writing music and all that, and then knowing that, you know, Dream Theater, we're going to get back together and start writing again, but is on Father's Day I got a beautiful Traeger smoker, and I've been smoking meat. I don't know if it's a good thing, guys.
Tell them about it, Justin.
Well, it's funny.
Tell them about the smoking meat.
Guys. Like when I walk through a room, it's filled with smoke. Put it that way.
You'll have to ask Chance to show you my.
Tell them about it.
Because
I'm
always smoking meat. It's my way of life.
It's freaking
I got a smoker like 2 years ago. It changed my life. And Daryl's like, "Oh, what are you up to?" I'm like, "Oh, I've been smoking a California Chuck for 8 hours." You know,
it's glorious.
I'm like held hostage at my house. I can't leave. I've got 14 pounds of beef on the smoker. The other day, my neighbors, James, I'm not even kidding. I fired up the smoker. I was doing some fillets. And next thing I know, I hear like voices coming from the side. I'm like, the fuck is this? My goes off. My neighbors are like hey, are you guys okay? We saw the smoke. We thought your house was on fire. And I was like,
oh, no way.
Like, bro, it's I'm like, no, it's just humid and I'm smoking a steak, you know? And what do you like to smoke?
Well, I've done that. I've done the brisket. I do the chicken thighs, like, the chili lime chicken thighs, and the whole chickens and beer chickens through it. I roasts. I've been doing. I actually did. What was it? The cabbage rolls. I did cabbage rolls on there.
What's that?
And then I did a whole vegetable tray, all smoked, and
wow,
Brussels sprouts and all this stuff. And
have you done pork shoulder yet?
Like just meat. I also have like a combination of vegetables that are going around it. And but I have the Traeger app. So actually, with my smoker, Justin, Daryl, I'll be out on my boat. And
you fired up.
I'm not kidding you guys.
Yeah. That's so cool.
I'm on my boat and I can check the temperature of my smoker, and then I can set it. Well, if it's at the right temperature, anything above 225, you can't super smoke.
Right.
Okay.
It's technically not smoking if you're above.
Right. So if there's like a dish
no longer
that
barbecue.
needs searing at the end, but it's crazy. Like I'll have like a 6-hour smoke going on. I'm out boating, and I can see the amount of pellets that I still have in my the box.
That's awesome.
And then I can see if everything's okay. So it's at the right temperature. If the temperature gets too high, I reset it. But it's usually just stays. So it's like it's the no.
Can you see it internally with that too? Can you can see it internally?
Oh no.
Just
I can't see it visually.
So
it's just all like that.
Okay.
So it just shows me my temperature. I can go super smoke. I can turn it down, turn it up. It tells me how much time is left on my smoke, and then it's stuff like that. But
that's cool.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
Isn't it amazing
it's a lot of fun.
How it immediately ruins ruins other people's barbecue for you, or like you go to somebody's house and they're
I have a barbecue. I keep looking over. And the barbecue's like, yeah, man, what about me?
Yep, not anymore.
Are you gonna use me? Hey, it just sat there for like 2 months and did nothing.
Well, you know what you got to get if you don't have one already is get yourself a cast iron skillet, like a flat skillet, and
yeah.
So I use that. I'll put that on the smoker. I'll turn it up to like 400 degrees. I'll leave it go for like 25 minutes. And then you can sear steaks on it. Sear chicken. I'll do shrimp, wings, whatever. And so then you're getting the smoke and you're getting the sear. And it's like,
oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm making this super complicated, but
I'm going to do that.
It's good shit. It's good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Pork shoulder, the whole bit. I love it, man. You know what I'm actually going to do tomorrow? Pumpkin seeds.
Oh yeah. Hey.
Pumpkin seeds.
That's great.
Normally you bake them.
Oh, there's so many recipes.
Dude, you can smoke literally anything. You can do Cheez-Its, potato chips, carrots.
You done lamb yet? You done lamb?
I love lamb. I do lamb burgers. I'm a big lamb guy. It's one of my favorite mammals.
Lamb burger.
Lamb.
Yeah. I'm thinking of throwing on there a leg of lamb.
Oh yeah, big time.
Checking that out.
This is making me hungry as shit right now.
We get the wicked winter, so I might put it away.
Yeah, when's your winter start? Like next week?
Pretty much. No, it's like you know what? Our winters aren't what they used to be. Just like everywhere else on this freaking planet. But we still get a lot of snow. But it probably really kicks in. Usually November we get a couple storms, and then it goes away. And then beginning of January, that's when it really starts to kick in and stay.
Yeah, see, I'm running that smoker year round. I'm a lunatic. I'm out there in these 2 feet of snow and a jacket and fired up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I've got like
I think I'll make friends with my barbecue again.
Yeah, you should. Right? You should. There's this one company that has it's got a pellet smoker, a propane grill, a vertical smoker, and then like a little electric griddle. All in one. It's like 8 feet.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like a whole outdoor kitchen. I
So
think
you don't even use your kitchen anymore.
Oh
right,
no.
you just cook outside.
Throw the stove out. Get rid of it.
I'd much rather grill and smoke than cook in a kitchen. I'm not into it. I've even done,
I hear you.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
So brings me to my next little topic here. Lately,
No, I'm not a chef.
well, between you and Petrucci, you guys are,
yeah. Well, he loves smoking too.
yeah, you guys are just a couple of smoking maniacs.
Yep.
I want to talk about Falset. So, Chance and Zach from Falset, we're just on, and I'll tell you, I think maybe another 10 years, people are going to start referring to you as a father of Chance LaBrie. He's got a great band, great album just came out, and we had an awesome time talking to them. And I was curious kind of what that's been like for you to kind of see your son, pursuing that, but also really taking it by the horns and going after it. Like, how is that for you?
Yeah. Hey, it's funny because Chance started showing, a real affinity for music at such a young age. And it's because I originally went up to him and I said, hey, you want to sing with Dad today? Let's do some singing. And he would, but he didn't like singing. You know what, Dad? Drums. I want to drum. And I was like, wow, go for it. Right. Yeah. And so I got him a drum set, and I could see that he was serious about it. He picked up real fast on it. And then, like anything else, he started to get together with a couple guys. They started jamming. It sounded like shit because they were really young, right? And I'm like, oh my God, okay, stay down in the basement, but whatever. Anyway, so it was I'd say about 3 years ago. And I just started to see this transformation, and they really began to transcend who and what they were as amateurs. And I started hearing the songs, and I was like, what the hell? Yeah. I said, Chance, that's a great freaking tune, man. And then, like, they, obviously, if you interviewed them, that that they had two singers before Zach started singing, right? Mm-hmm. And, I would hear Zach, and he would do the demos, and he'd be singing on the demos. And like, he's talking to me, I'm just like experimenting with the voice. And I'm going, what I'm hearing? Like, buddy, you can sing, like you should start singing around the house all the time. Keep working on it. Keep working on, all the subtleties that go into singing. Really find your sound, define yourself. I said, don't try and sound like anyone else. It's the biggest mistake anyone can do. Just try and find your sound. And he did. He started doing it. And then I'd hear him over here, like rehearsing and stuff like that. And then he talked to me about it, and we kept going on. But the songs kept developing to the point where you guys are hearing now with their latest album, We Lead or We Follow. And I was blown away because Chance would keep playing me stuff that they recorded. Hey, Dad, check it out. Let's go for a spin. So it's always best, right, guys, when you're out in the vehicles,
absolutely,
listening to music, right? And you freaking crank it up, you're freaking grooving down the road, right? Yeah. And that's the way. That's the way a lot of things come to me, like melodies and riffs, stuff like that. I'm driving, so I'm always like, like just like singing into the into the phone and stuff like that, right? But it was great. So he keep playing me these songs that these guys were working on. And I'm like, oh my God. You guys are amazing. So they finally released it. And then I got in touch with a couple people in the industry, and I just said, hey, can you guys get in touch with these guys and then maybe start helping them develop this and get it out there so that the masses can hear it. And all of a sudden, like they're being played on Octane and stuff like that. So I think that they really have a shot because I think their songs are great. I really do. I can honestly say that. I'm not biased. I can honestly say that when I'm listening to those songs, if I heard one of those songs come on the radio, I go, wow, this is actually pretty cool, right? Yeah. And they're already working on new stuff, and the stuff they're working on now, I'm like, oh my God, keep it going, guys. I think they have a future. I really do. I think that if they keep their heads about them and like being in a band, it's very difficult because you have however many people you have in the band, that's how many different personalities you have. And you got to find that common ground where you respect one another and you see that, we're all after the same goal here. We all want to make it work. And I really think they have a bright future. I really think that they're going to do something.
Oh yeah.
I totally agree. And I'm not just saying that because you're sitting here or, because I like Chance, but when he sent me the record ahead of the podcast, I was listening to it and I was like, wow, I really like this. Like, I knew, I knew
you were probably thinking, oh man, how am I going to get around this one?
No, I knew it would be good.
This stuff sucks, man.
Never. No, I knew it would be quality. I didn't know if it would be my cup of tea, because, I just, my taste changes over time. And, but when I listened to it, I was just like, not to say like I had low expectations. I was just shocked at how mature the songwriting was and how developed it was and well thought out.
Melodies, memorable.
Yeah,
everything. Yeah,
exactly. And then, so then when I was listening to it for like a week and then my fiance would hear it and she's like, oh, who's that? I was like, oh, it's Falset, Chance's band. She's like, really? So now she's listening to it. But all my friends, they're like, I just send them the link on the Spotify link. I'm like, oh, what do you think of this? And they're like, whoa, this is sick. Like this, I like this, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's, the song. They're like, really? Like, and it's like it's kind of why, like when I had Chance on here and Zach, like, I didn't want that to be the focus of it because it's like, yeah, obviously, and I, my father is a professional musician and I benefited greatly from having someone who had been through it, and could give me a heads up, and I developed early because of that.
It's not an easy industry.
No, it's not. And like, obviously he's going to benefit from having that knowledge and that insight, but like it still stands for itself. And that's why I wanted to kind of let it be its own thing.
I appreciate what you and Daryl have done and that you guys, you supported them but I mean, you're doing it because you sincerely like it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Absolutely. We wouldn't.
Zach can sing his ass off.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Zach can fucking sing, bro.
I couldn't believe
he can sing.
Oh, man, he's awesome. He's awesome. Yeah.
It's like you didn't realize you were the singer, dude. Like, are you serious? Like you can wail. And then, it's I'm really excited for them.
It was kind of weird because like and this isn't taking anything from the previous singer because I thought he had a cool voice, but maybe for something else. Yeah. But I'd always I'd hear what Zach was doing on the demos, and I go up to Chance and I go, "Why isn't Zach singing for you guys? Like, come on, man." And he's like, "Well, he's not sure yet. He doesn't. Because it's that whole thing, right? He's like, guitar player, and I'm writing the songs, and I'm doing the solos, and that's really not something for me, or at least I don't think I can do it." And I said, no, you got to start getting him to believe in himself, and I think that's what started happening. And then he come over and he started asking me, and I go, dude, look, I'm not lying to you, man. You got a great voice. Freaking use it. The one thing that I've always said to people is like, they go, well, I'm trying to be a singer. Well, the thing is like when you open your mouth, you automatically know whether your voice sounds great or not. You don't need anybody else to tell you that. I don't give a shit what anybody says out there. I don't give a shit if you say, well, I wasn't quite sure. Bullshit. You were. You were. Okay? Because you either have it or you don't. I mean, you can work on it and develop it and create your own thing. But first and foremost, when you open your mouth, you kind of go, wait a minute. Hey, that sounds pretty good. Yeah. I'm going to work on that. And I think that it stands for anything. I don't care if you can sing in the stratosphere or if you got a low bass voice. If it sounds beautiful, I don't care if you're Lou Rawls or if you're freaking Steve Perry. Both those guys have beautiful voice.
Yeah.
Right.
Nat King Cole.
Yeah.
Beautiful voice. Like it doesn't matter. You baritone, bass, tenor, whatever. That's, as soon as you open your mouth, you're a singer. That's it. Period. Yeah. Yep.
Then you get those freaks of nature like Devin Townsend who can just do it all. What's your take on Devin Townsend?
You guys have met him, obviously.
I've met him as in passing as a fan, and he was incredibly gracious. He's like one of my dream guests to have on the show.
Oh, you got to get him on.
I'm trying to. He's I got to get a hold of the man, but
he's elusive.
He is very elusive. He's elusive. But he is, in my, you know, and then this is no, I mean, you would probably say this.
Oh, you're not using the word. I know where you're going to go with this. I know where you're going to go. Go say it.
I can't.
You can say it.
I can't think of anyone presently that can do all of those things that he does at that level while playing guitar and be this creative mastermind. Like, he's a true artist, like transcendent, you know, creative visionary. Like, I really think that's what he is. It's like selling him short to say he's a singer or he's a, you know, he's just a guitar player or whatever. But what's your take on Dev?
Well, I thought you were going to say he's a genius.
Well, he's definitely a genius.
Yeah, I mean, listen. First time I met him, we were doing a festival. We were headlining a festival over in Europe, and our trailer where we were at this festival. So I'm in there and I'm warming up, and I freaking knock on the door, and I open the door and I'm thinking, who the fuck's knocking on my door? Right? So I open it and it's Devin. Hey man, Phil, get up, great. And he just starts talking to me. I'm like, holy shit, Devin, how you doing, man? And they were right next door. So I came over, they're all sitting there, you know, and so Devin goes, sits down, and he's the funniest guy in the world. He's got an incredible sense of humor. It's unreal. Like, and he's just, you know, he's thinking on another level, and he's just brilliant. He's a brilliant man. And then I watched them because, you know, they were on whatever, like sometime in the afternoon. So I stood on the side stage, and I'm like, he is a freak of nature. He is. I don't know how he does it, you know? And it's just like everything just seems so natural and just, I mean, like anyone will tell you when you're out there and you're touring long enough, I think it gets to a point where it becomes autopilot. Like, and that's not to take away from, you know, oh, so you're just up there like you're like a fucking robot. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, it gets to the point that you're not even really thinking about it so that you can be more engaged into it, right?
Absolutely.
I know that sounds like that's a contradiction. It's a contradiction, but that's really the way it goes.
You're not spending all of your focus on executing.
Right, and I think
doing it
start doing that. That's when you screw up, and we talked about that in the band. You start thinking about the parts that are coming up, and the guys will say the same thing. You started thinking about, I'm like, holy shit, what am I doing? Like, you screw yourself up. But just watching Devin, he's just an incredible talent. There's very few like him. But yeah, he's innately gifted. Like, you know, you can't learn that, what he's doing and what he's been. And
he puts so much music out.
The first time when he was out with Steve Vai. I remember 1994, we were over in Europe touring on the Awake album. And they were playing some club. We were in Germany at the time. And I see this guy get up on stage and he's just all over the place and singing and he's like freaking Tarzan on stage. And I'm like, what is going on here, man? I can't fathom what the hell's going on with this guy. And then I start reading about him, and then he's like playing guitar. I see him in videos playing guitar, and I'm like, what?
Yep.
Oh my God. He's just incredibly talented all the way around. 360. Yeah.
Similarly to how I found Dream Theater, and then he went on to be.
But you have to get him on the show.
Oh, I have to.
First of all, you guys will both walk away. I guarantee you'll have a workout. Your abdominal muscles will be done in.
You know? You put it out there in the universe. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
That's right. Like, whoa. I don't remember doing push-ups.
I went from a keg to a six-pack. What's going on?
Right.
In one conversation.
Call me tomorrow, man. I got to work out again.
I was going to see Between the Buried and Me, and it was when Devin Townsend Project first started that, and I had no idea what it was, and that first album came out, and I see this like tall, like oddly shaped dude come out wearing this like cheap ass suit. Yeah. Setting up all his own stuff, and then he blew our fucking minds, and I was like hooked from then on.
Oh yeah, I know.
Hooked. We refer to him as His Holiness, you know, like because we just revere him so much. And it's like he's another guy I've seen so many times, but never ceases to amaze me. But he just put out a new live album.
Yeah.
But really, the reason I kind of started talking about Devin Townsend was I remember him saying that every time he goes on tour, it affects kind of like his vocal range a certain amount, you know, and he loses a little bit of, you know, mustard, so to speak, every time he tours. And I'm wondering, like, do you think that maybe this extended period where you're not performing, do you think it might help you? Will it benefit you? Will it be detrimental to you as a performer, as a vocalist? Like, have you thought about that at all?
It's not going to be detrimental because I've been singing stuff and I've been recording stuff. But that, like, is he saying? Like, I'm just trying to understand you here. Is he saying that after each world tour that he's lost a bit more of his range?
That's what he said in an interview.
Back.
Yeah,
and it never comes back.
Yeah.
I've never. I still have the same range that I had back in frickin' scenes from a memory.
See, that might be, maybe he was saying that because of, like, he does all the guttural screaming.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably what he was talking about.
You know what? I've always said that that's going to rip your freaking chords up. It just rips them to shreds. Like anybody. Okay, so like Phil Anselmo, we were doing a show with Pantera, and he came up and he goes, "James, how you doing? Love you, man, freaking." And he was talking because I don't know if you remember, but Pantera, when they first started out, were like more like a Judas Priest.
Yeah. Yep.
And Phil could sing like,
yeah.
And he's like up there just freaking going crazy.
Well, there's a couple little bits of that still in the 90s Pantera.
Yeah, exactly, right? And he's like, James, I'm like, I said, no. I said, listen to what the hell you do, man. And he goes, yeah, I know, man. He says, I'll never be able to sing again because this is what I decided to do. But he's still an amazing freaking performer, and he can still go out there and what they are and who they were at the time. I mean, he could nail it. But he was just, you know, like, if you do that, yeah, you're gonna. It definitely takes its toll, and it is detrimental after a while. But I've never, like, the only thing that really screwed me up is when in 1994 in December, went to Cuba. I had food poisoning, and then I ripped my vocal cords and I ruptured them. Oh. So I lost a bit of my range there. But with that little bit of range gone, then I was able to maintain everything. But I've never, if anything, what happens to me when I'm on tour for a long time, if I get sick, yeah, then I'm compromised. But after every tour and like, you know, like I'm doing like the cameo thing, and
I saw that. That's really cool.
Yeah, and like the other day I was singing.
You sound great.
and I'm just like singing up in the freaking stratosphere. So it's kind of like, it hasn't affected me like that. I'm not coming off tour going, oh my God, guys, okay, now we're gonna have to tune down a whole step. Yeah. You know, we're not gonna have to do that. Now the only time that I was saying come down like a half step was when we did Images and Words. Because I was like, look, guys, I'm not gonna be singing that shit like I was back in '93. There's no flipping way. So I said, you know, and they were like, no, we get it, you know. And I said, so bring it down a bit, and then I can do like one of my favorite singers in the world always did, like Freddie Mercury, where he would take the melodies and change them a little bit, but still make them interesting. And that wasn't lessening the man. The man's still a phenomenal freaking singer.
Absolutely.
You know, actually, the last couple of albums they did, I couldn't be like, The Show Must Go On. Oh my God, what a freaking vocal performance! What a tour de force that is. It just blows my mind when I listen to that song. But so I've gone all the way around the globe. So no, I don't lose my range after tours. And I'm always singing, and I do this thing, Jamie Vendera. I studied with Jamie Vendera over the last couple of years, and I met him years ago, and he got me onto this thing called the Doc Vox. Hang on a second, guys. I'll just show you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there it is.
The Doc Vox. Comes out with a flamethrower.
True ninja smoke bomb.
Oh.
Here's my flamethrower.
There it is.
But anyways, so Jamie turned me on to this.
Whoa.
And basically you fill the water up and you vibrate the water. You blow through this. So you're going like, woo. But when you're doing woo and doing all that stuff, this thing bubbles. And what it does is it massages and heals and actually strengthens your cords.
Oh, wow.
It's the vibrations?
Scientifically proven.
Wow.
What's that called?
Doc Vox.
Doc Vox.
Go to jamievendera.com and you'll see them and you can buy them. But
I think I might need one of those because honestly, sometimes after we podcast, I'm feeling a little I feel a little.
Feel a little bit
I'm
after
not
the
even kidding.
podcast.
Okay, let me tell you. I'll give you a quick story. So we were down in Santiago on this last tour in December. I was so freaking sick. Okay, after we did Buenos Aires, so we'd already done all Brazil, and then we did Buenos Aires, and everything was going great. And then we took a flight from Buenos Aires to Santiago. And on the flight, I'm like, holy shit, I'm getting fucking sick. Oh my God. Well, I'd already had this thing out with me, and I use it every day when I'm on tour. Even on my days off, I'll do a half an hour with this thing.
Wow.
Doing scales and stuff like that, because it just keeps your voice. So I woke up the morning of the Santiago show, and I'm not kidding you guys. I called my tour manager and said, I don't know if I can do tonight. And we'd already sold it out, 10,000 people at an arena. It was already sold out. I don't know if I can do. So what do you need? I said, nothing. I'm just drinking tons of water. I'm orange juice, freaking bananas and oranges, and freaking. I'm just like trying to get something good of me. So I started humming on this thing about 2:00 in the afternoon. We weren't on till 9, and I just kept walking around the venue, doing scales and all this stuff. I went on stage, and I was able to get through that show, and for the most part, people were like, "Oh, you sounded great, man. Well, no, you were hitting it." And I knew that there were some parts where I was like, no. But I woke up with no voice that morning.
Oh, wow.
By the time I was able to go out and do a 3-hour show and basically do it because of this thing. I swear to God, it was this thing. It brought everything back online. I was able to go out and sing high notes all night, everything here and there. It was kind of weird. I was able to sing all these really high notes. Whoa. And then the middle of my voice was still like, fuck off and leave me alone. and then like the lower stuff was okay too, but it was just that whole mid thing, that the whole breaking point, like where you go from your chest into your head and all that stuff. But anyways, this thing, because I, honest to God, like we were on our way to the venue, and the guys were like, "You're gonna be all right." I'm like, "I don't know, guys. I fucking shit."
Oh, wow.
I was like that, and by the time I'm like, "Yeah," and I walked on stage doing that. Whoa. I'm not kidding you. It was insane.
Doc Vox.
Doc Vox.
I'm gonna put the link to that in the show notes.
And
you gotta do that.
And only go up to. I only go up to, like, there's all numbers on the side here, but I go up to like 4.5.
Yeah.
And that's where I fill it up to 4.5, 5. You do all these things. If you go on Jamie Bandera's site, he shows you how to use it. It's,
I'm sold.
I'm telling you guys, it is every vocalist in the world should have this thing, especially when you're doing big tours. Any live performance, you should be walking around with this thing that day. It'd be your best friend.
Sweetness.
For sure.
You sold me on it, James. That's for sure.
Yep. Absolutely.
Got to keep these velvety tones.
Velvety.
And don't do this shit.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
No, I don't. I don't have anything to do with drinks when I'm
Oh, you can't. No, you can't.
Absolutely not.
It's
no
business
alcohol
time
whatsoever. No.
Yep.
I only do LSD.
Yeah, just keep it light. Mushrooms, peyote,
a little peyote,
ayahuasca. I do a little bit of that. I do a spiritual cleanse. Oh man, that's great. Well, James, this has been an excellent, totally awesome conversation. Great podcast. I wanted to kind of wind it down on this one last note here.
Yeah, sure.
I mentioned it earlier. I've been listening to 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence lately, but specifically the first disc. And because I think the second disc gets all the attention, but there's some of my favorite, in hindsight now, some of my favorite Dream Theater songs, just like songwriting, lyrical songs, are on that first disc.
Right.
One of them specifically is Blind Faith, and I know you wrote the lyrics for that. And again, not just saying this because you're here and you're a friend, but there's some lyrics in there that when I was listening to this, my fiance and I went up to this awesome cabin in the middle of nowhere up in the mountains of Pennsylvania. It was just us. Nobody around, and I'm cooking salmon on the grill and I'm blaring Blind Faith and I'm drinking my White Claws. It was great.
Excellent.
And there's just a certain line that really hit me in the face, and it's, sick of all this, the suffering, and we just carry on. Isn't it time we care and lose the hate and understand our fears? And I couldn't think, and I know what the song is about, and when you look at it in the context of kind of the world that we all find ourselves in right now, it really just spoke to me. And I think it says something there, you know, isn't it time we care and lose the hate? And whether that's in a religious context or a community context or political context, I can't think of anything more, you know, on point than that right now.
I mean, I think, you know, a lot of where I base my lyrics on is it's observation. Sure, you know, I read a lot of books and stuff like that, and I love that as well. But I think that if we just look around and you see all these quarrels that we have and this division that we have, like, and we still consider ourselves this intelligent species, it just blows my mind that there's so much division, that there's so much ignorance, there's so much misunderstanding. And I think that's basically what I was saying is, like, you know, at the end of the day, is it's so hard for us to just be kind to one another, care for one another, and to see that we're all the same. We are, you know, we're all the same. We're all in here. We all have our fears. We all have our faults, our idiosyncrasies, our, you know, I don't believe in sins. I believe that we just, if you learn from a mistake and if you've wronged somebody and you never do that again, that's what it's about. It's becoming a better person. And basically that whole lyric though is based on, to be quite honest with you, is that religion has really divided us all. And religion has created this supremacy that if you're this, then you're right. And if you're not, then you're wrong. And it's so far from the truth. But that's basically that one line is that like just take a look around. You know, it's so hard for us to care for one another, be kind to one another. And trust me, I was an asshole when I was young. I had my moments, you know. I'd rather get in a scrap with someone instead of talking something out, you know. And it was just ridiculous when I look back at that. And I remember even saying to Chance in that at times growing up, I go, don't fucking go that route, because it's just wrong from the beginning. And, you know, when we're young, you know, we're just like filled with testosterone, and we think you know, we're the one that's right, and that asshole, because he said that to me, is wrong, and I'm going to punch your face in, you know. But it's just, I think that, you know, the whole thing, like when I'm writing lyrics, and you'll see these lyrics on this last solo album that I just did here, it's also, you know, one of the songs I wrote a lyric about is it's called Sunset Ruin, and it's about my brother. I lost my brother in 2016, and he but basically I just want to, you know, it still gets me, holy shit. Anyways, it's all about just coming to terms with what really matters in life, you know. Like, he died from pancreatic cancer, my brother, and I've met many people since then, because when they found out that, oh yeah, my father did, or yeah, you know, it's usually men too, guys. I don't know if you know that, but you know, and but I think when I'm ever approaching a lyric, if I want to write about fun things, you know, I definitely do, because that is a big part of me. I like to be a funny guy, and I like to keep things light. But there's also a part of me that I'm very, very serious about what I see going on around me, and it does affect me. And I'm sure each of you guys, you walk through life, you see things, and you're like, wow, that is so twisted, man. Why is that shit even going on? You know, why? Anyways, but that's cool. I'm glad you picked up on stuff like that, you know, and lyrics and music, you know, it just kind of puts us in another realm. It really does.
Yep. Yeah. And you know, and doing my research, kind of brush up on some of my memory here. You know, Sacrifice Sons, while we're on the topic of you know, songs that are my favorite, you know, that's another one that's like that you wrote that has such a, again, being at Radio City that night when you guys did that, you know, and
well, I was there, right? I flew in the night before, right? You know what that's based on, right? Of
course, that's why.
9/11, and I flew in September 10th that night, and I was supposed to start singing 6 Degrees the next day, the album. And I woke up to that, you know? And so once again, those whole lyrics are about what the hell are we doing, people?
Right.
What are we doing to one another? What is wrong with us? You know? Anyways, yeah.
Not to bring it down, but yeah, man, that's it's powerful stuff. And I think the cool thing about it,
I'm okay. Yeah, you brought me down there.
I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry, man. But I think the cool thing about it, and the reason it's so kind of, you know, poignant to me is like Dream Theater, the lyrics may get lost in the mix sometimes. And I know you don't like to hear that as the vocalist, but sometimes you're just so enamored in awe of the virtuoso display going on before you that you miss that. And you know, it's only because I've listened to these songs so much, and I guess I was just in that mindset, and it caught me a certain way. But you know, it's great to see that one, you know, I can't wait to hear a record that you and Chance do together. The love that's going to be on that is going to be special. And I've had the opportunity to play, you know, and my father is a huge Dream Theater fan. He loves you. He loves the band, and
say hi to him for me.
Yeah, he's watching this. He'll be watching this when this is out. So, but I've gotten the opportunity to play music with my dad since a very early age. Since I was 5 years old, I've been playing music with my dad.
Telling you.
And there's something special.
Right?
It's special, and it's a bond that you'll never forget. And you know, so from someone who's gotten to experience that from that end, it makes me happy to see that for you guys. But you know, James, thank you so much for joining us on the Everyman Podcast. This has been excellent.
Well, you guys are awesome, man. I love you guys, and I thank you for inviting me. And we'll do it again. We'll do it once you've heard the next my solo.
That's right. Right. It'll be perfect.
So we can talk about that, and then we can talk about that band. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, what was that band called?
It starts with a D.
Nighttime Cinema. That's the one.
Nighttime
Cinema. Ooh. Yeah.